Okay, so we start recording, and I'm also going to switch my view so that the recording, let's see. Okay, hopefully that will work. Great. So I think today let's dive in and start singing sooner than later. Sometimes we end up talking more. And last week, or not last week, last session, we were speaking about Sri Nityananda. It was leading up to his appearance day, and we were speaking about the way that great saints pray to the feet of these holy divine personalities and great teachers. And we were speaking particularly about Nitai Pada Kamala. Some of you remember that. The lotus feet of Sri Nityananda, and how cooling and soothing and sheltering they are. I hope some of you had the chance to listen to some of the beautiful songs that I posted from my friend Gauravani, and I think another from the Kirtaniyas singing that same song. And it's beautiful to hear all the different expressions of these same songs. There's so many different ways that they can be shared in melody and in tone. But today we're going to speak a little bit more about Narottam Das Thakur, who is the author of that song. But let's start by doing our invocation. And maybe we'll just do a little bit of Mahamantra to start, because it's always, you know, it's like the light coming through the clouds. I feel like personally, it's a bad habit, but I do tend to look at my phone in the morning, and I'm admitting that to you to just, not try and hide anything away in my heart, but it's a bad habit. And, sometimes I also end up seeing some news of the world, and it's so difficult to keep an uplifted spirit when we confront in a very honest way the terrible things that are happening in this world, along with beautiful things. There's beautiful things happening every day, and yet there are atrocious, horrific things happening also in this world because of corrupt motivations that, people in power have, and so many other reasons. We're told by the great teachers, great sages through our scriptures that this age is the age of Kali, which is characterized by hypocrisy and quarrel, and which of course means war and so many other things. So it can be difficult to keep light in one's heart. I'm speaking personally. When I see these things that are happening in the world, it's really devastating. And so maybe we start with Maha Mantra, because that truly is a light which can never be dimmed in any way. It's, a pure sound vibration that is always pure and always has a medicinal healing capacity. So maybe we can dive in there, and then we'll speak about Narottam Das Thakur. He's a very uplifting personality, and a little bit about some of his incredible contributions. So I invite you to close your eyes if you would like, and we're going to sing the short invocation together. Three ohms all together, taking a deep breath. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जना शलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sing together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Sing again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One last time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all so much for singing. Thank you for participating. Um, it's a beautiful Sanga to be here, connected on the screen together. Our voices are resounding, even if we can't hear. That vibration is more, more subtle and more penetrating than our ability to see. This is sound vibration is very, very real, very powerful. So I wanted to give a few quick little updates on some artistic or creative stuff because I like to share with you how things are going. You're all part of Patreon because you're kindly offering some support, and I want to do that now so that we can finish with the beautiful song of Nartam Das Thakur and not have any other distraction after that. So I'm just going to remind myself. I put a few notes just so I didn't forget what I wanted to share. Oh yeah, one significant thing this past month since we've spoken, which I'm very grateful to all of you because your contributions really do support my ability to invest in things like this. But I started some music lessons this last month. Not me giving them, me taking them. Many of you will remember if you've been on this group for a while, or you're just familiar with what I've been doing because I've collaborated with him many times. But Kaylee, my friend Kaylee Woods, he's a brilliant musician, and he teaches music lessons. Just to put a disclaimer, he's fully booked up right now. He has quite a lot of students, but if anyone is interested, maybe later in the year, he's a fantastic teacher, and he teaches piano, guitar, songwriting, ukulele, lots of other things as well, music theory. And I had formal music learning on the violin for many years, but because the violin is a certain type of instrument, there's aspects of music theory that I didn't learn, which is sort of like a big gap in my knowledge that particularly helps with composition and also speaking with other musicians who come from a Western background. And it's something that I've always thought, oh, it'd be interesting to know, but I kind of just I never put the time and never put it as a priority. But I started doing that this past month. We've had, I think we've actually only had one lesson. But even from that one lesson, I'm feeling an immense benefit. So thank you to all of you. Even if you may think that your contribution is very small, everything adds together, and I'm able to invest in something that hopefully is results in creating more music that can go out into the world, and music that brings together, I think, the best, or hopefully, my prayer is that it's the best of what there is to share from this bhakti tradition that is presented in a way that's palatable to the ear of many people. We all have diverse musical influences from what we hear around us, and how something is presented does matter to the way that we're receptive to it, to the way that we take it in. So that's a big step for me. Also a mental step because, you know, something you've been planning to do for a long time that you just don't do. There's usually more reasons than just financial reasons that is stopping you from my experience. Normally it's, you know, it's a self-belief thing, it's a time or management thing. So, yeah. Um, and then I wanted to also mention that I don't know how many of you are maybe in the Bay Area. It may be only Diran who's on this group or on this call right now. But there is a regular Tuesday night kirtan at the temple in Silicon Valley. And I think I'm going to plan to go this Tuesday, and we'll mention it if I am planning to go, just in case some of you may be passing through or may be able to attend that. I'm still confirming other events that I may lead, but just wanted to mention that. Oh, also the mixes for the album that I'm working on are there's only 3 left, and then they're going to go to mastering. We're starting to put together all the materials for release, so should be able to update with when that's going to come out soon, which is exciting. That's been very long time in the works, and I hope that it's going to be something that aids your meditation and your life. And last thing, Badr was asking about the new name. I'm stuck between a few names right now. Actually, I'm yeah. I actually originally it was going to be called Into the Forest, and the reason I'm a little stuck is because I feel like it's feeling a little old now because the album ended up not being ready, but when we did the tour, and then we did this tour. Now that's 2 years ago, and it kind of feels like it needs some like a new name that has a fresh energy, even though some of those songs were performed on that tour. So I will update you. Yeah, and maybe I'll maybe I'll ask your opinion to give a poll. Um, and last thing I wanted to update, I just wanted to check in case any of you were still considering or on the fence about the Bahamas retreat. I know that Bahamas is not it's not close for everyone. If you're on the east coast of the U.S., it's not too far, and sometimes you can get good deals on flights. But just in case anyone was still thinking about it, I think it's going to be a really beautiful experience. And please feel free to contact me on the private messages, or I can put a post on the board if you have any questions about it, and I'll be really happy to answer them. I'm really glad to see that some of the people who've been able to attend previous retreats are going to be able to come. Always helps to foster a feeling of community when it's, you know, people we've come to join together with before. Diren, what time on Tuesday? I believe it is 6:30 till 8. If I'm wrong, I will update. I know they said it ends at 8, so either it's 6 to 8 or 6:30 to 8. Okay, so those are my little updates. Oh, one last update, which I'll remind you at the end. I just confirmed this was all happening just in the last few days. So previously we had our next Patreon session set for 24th, Sunday the 24th, which is the festival day of Gaur Purnima. I just agreed, sort of out of a loving friendship with my friend Gauravani and the community in Washington, D.C., to go and be there because they are opening their new temple on that day. And it's been many, many years that they've been, you know, trying to build this new temple. They had a setback last year when they planned to open it and ended up having to get moved to this point. And so I'm going to be there on that day, which means we may have to reschedule our session. But I also wanted to share that in case any of you are near DC, or if you feel like coming and joining the big party, the Transcendental Party. It's going to be a much bigger space than they've ever had before. And Gauravani, of course, will be there. My friends Nadia Mani and Amal, who some of you may know, their kirtans, they will also be there leading kirtan. It will be a lot of kirtan basically over the Saturday and Sunday. I think it's the 23rd and the 24th of March. So consider it are if you are interested, and I can also post the schedule for that. Okay, I had one more thing, but I was just about to say it. Oh, I'll share that at the end. Okay. So, Narottam Das Thakur. I have this songbook here. You can see this is a artist's rendition of Narottam Das Thakur. Um, and I'm not sure actually if there's any kind of artistic rendering from that time itself. As with many times, historic personalities were often depicted in sort of beautiful ways, but we might not know exactly what their features look like. But this is a common depiction of Narottam Das Thakur. And this is his songbook, Prarthana, which as far as I understand, means prayer, songs and prayers. And this is, I just heard in a class the other day, actually, that there are many, many other songs which are attributed to him, which it's not clear historically if that's actually accurate. But the two verified books that it's known are written by him are this one, Prarthana, from which most of the songs that you would encounter within the Gaudiya Vaishnava world come from this book, Prarthana. And the other book is Prema Bhakti Chandrika, which one prominent song that is sung daily, at least in ISKCON temples, is Sri Guru Charana Padma, which is sung in the morning, and it's a prayer to the Guru. The songs are quite long. I just was looking through them yesterday to see whether we might sing one of them together, and I was like, oh wow, I hadn't looked in a while, and many of them have a lot of verses. So interesting to delve into. But I wanted to focus on one song today, and I'm going to put it in the chat. Oh yes, meeting group chat. It's called Ebaro Koruna Koro. And before we get into singing it, I just wanted to just sketch a little bit of the story, because where we left off last time, Narottam, as a young prince, had become enamored with bhakti, with hearing about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the pilgrims that would pass through the kingdom where his father ruled as a king. And if you remember, the astrologer that gave a prediction when he was born had said that, you absolutely have to keep him away from water, particularly this Padmavati river that was very close by. And Sri Chaitanya had deposited his prema, his divine love, in that river, ready to be given to Narottam many, many years later when he would grow up and come there. If you didn't hear this story last week, it sounds a little wild, just go with it. But again, I highly recommend this book, The Glories of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, The Glorious Life of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, to really get into the story. I'm a little bit cold, so I'm just going to grab this blanket. I suddenly was like, wow, it's cold in here. We've been having some storms here in the Bay Area. I mean, higher up into the mountains, it's apparently blizzards and snow, but it's been raining and raining and raining here. So, excuse me, just warming up. So, Srila Narottam Das, when we last spoke, he managed to escape. He had a dream, which was Sri Nityananda, whose lotus feet we were speaking about last time, came to him in his dream and told him to go down to the river. And he went to the river. He escaped in the night through the guards who were guarding his room at all times. And there, the goddess of the river, she deposited this prema with him, and he fell unconscious. And it's said that his bodily complexion even changed because of the impact of that, receiving that love within his heart. That formerly his complexion was a little darker, and then he became almost like a golden color. Um, it's hard to really, relate to these descriptions sometimes, but I've always wondered, like, what would that color look like? That he's still completely a human being, but it's like a radiance. So at least this is my meditation on it. So he knew that he wanted to escape and run away to Vrindavan, where he believed that he would be able to meet Sri Chaitanya and his associates, who he had longed since childhood to meet, to be in their company, to join them, really. We hear stories about our heroes, or particularly groups of people that we admire, we aspire to be with them. It can be a desire that really gets fostered in the heart. I was just telling someone the other day that when I first heard Gauravani's album, the first album that he did with his band at the time, As Kindred Spirits, it's called Nectar of Devotion. Um, I'll write that in the chat. Nectar of Devotion. And it was so, I was 15 when I heard it, and it was so impactful. It was so stunning to me that I felt like, whoever are all these people that are, that are making things like this, I want to be part of whatever they're doing. And at that age, I wrote a letter to Gauravani and this sort of the studio that he was running at the time, Avatar Studios, saying, I play the violin, and like, if you ever need somebody, I'd love to be part of what you're doing. And I don't know if he ever read that letter at the time, but he found it in the studio many years later, when I had already been touring with him for some time. And he was like, look at this. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot that I wrote that. So, yeah, basically when I would see them perform, and when I saw them, pouring out their heart in such a beautiful, artistic and devotional way, I thought, I want to be part of that. And for me, that aspiration came true. That was so incredible in a very winding way. Um, and so for Narottam Das, he just wanted to get to Vrindavan. And it was a very, very long journey. It was one that he would have to embark upon by foot, and he would go through jungles, go through many towns and different places. And along his journey, he would meet different people. He was very he attracted people's hearts because he was um, carrying something so potent within his pure love of God. But he was asking, the way to Vrindavan, the way to Vrindavan. And sometimes he would feel a little discouraged. And oh, by the way, at the same time, his family sent guards to kidnap him and bring him home. And I think I remember, I have to be reminded in the story, I think they may have actually captured him, and then he managed to escape from them again. Um, So finally, he was almost at Vrindavan, and he was so totally exhausted. And he asked someone, and they pointed out, no, there's Mathura. That's, the place where Sri Krishna was born, or he appeared. Um, and when he finally got there, he came to the bank of the Yamuna River, and he just fell unconscious. He was um, so exhausted and so stunned that he had finally arrived after months at his destination. And he met a Brahmin there who was very kind, who fed him and inquired about, why have you come here? Who are you? And all of this. And from that Brahmin, he learned that Sri Chaitanya has left this world. He's no longer here. Not only that, but Sri Nityananda Prabhu also, and also Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, um, who were some of the prominent disciples of Sri Chaitanya and who he had longed to meet. You know, imagine that. You go on such a long journey to meet your heroes, and when you arrive, you find out that they're no longer living in this world. And somehow you hadn't found that out till this point. It was so devastating to him. So it said that he again fell unconscious. And when he came to his senses, he could see not only did he see a vision, a divine vision of these great personalities that he had wanted to meet, like Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, saying, Narottam, keep going, keep going. Like, we welcome you, we're welcoming you here to Vrindavan, and please keep going with your devotional journey. They were offering him encouragement. So that alone was so beautiful. But then he saw a face coming over him, and this was the face of Srila Jiva Goswami, who was the nephew of Srila Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis. And he was saying, Narottam, we've all been waiting for you. We all knew, all these years, we knew that you were coming because it had been prophesied by Sri Chaitanya. He said that one day someone called Narottam will come and he will be carrying this treasure of prema in his heart. Narayani's commenting in the group, and Narayani knows this book very well because it's her favorite book. So Narayani, if I make any mistakes, please correct me because I haven't read it in a while. So Narottam Das was warmly welcomed, very warmly welcomed, and he began to stay there with Srila Jiva Goswami and some students of his, Srinivas Acharya and Shamananda Pandit. And most importantly, she's rereading it right now. Most importantly, after some time, Narottam really wanted to meet a spiritual master. He wanted to find a guru. And I'm looking at the time and I'm seeing the time is so short. So I'm going to tell this in an extremely abbreviated way. But he heard of someone called Lokanath Goswami. He actually observed him and became attracted to him deeply. He was very, very elderly, but he felt that this is my guru. I know I've met my guru. But someone told him, well, he doesn't take any disciples. He's not going to accept you as a student. He's so humble. He just lives in the forest in a completely secluded place. He just performs his worship. You know, many times these great sages and sadhus, their day-to-day activity was just chanting the divine names and performing worship, whether that be externally. So maybe they would have a deity, a murti that they would offer food and offer garlands and clothes every day. Or they would perform sometimes that worship in the mind, manasa puja. And yeah, they may not have any external interest in becoming like a great teacher or master. So Narottam Das was determined that he would become the disciple, or he really at least wanted to beg. And multiple times he begged and begged Lokanath Goswami, but he soon realized that he was going to commit an offense if he continued to beg, because he was telling him outright, no, I won't. And he was becoming angry on multiple occasions. So Narottam had a plan, and he found out where Lokanath Goswami used the toilet. Rather, not toilet, but he, emptied his bowels and did all of that in a certain part in the forest. And generally, that's the traditional practice when you live outdoors or you live in a place where, modern kind of sewage systems don't exist. You go in a certain place that's far, far away from any source of water or any dwelling, and you have a big hole that's dug so that it always goes, directly into the ground. It's a very natural way of doing it. So he found that place by following, and he decided that, what am I going to do to serve him? I'm going to clean this place when he's not here. So before he arrives, I'm going to make it all clean, because leaves fall and things like that. I'm going to make it like a nice bathroom, basically, for him to come to. So he started to do that, and as fate goes, one morning Lokanath Goswami caught him still finishing up before he arrived, and he was saying, "What are you doing? Who's there? What are you doing?" And he explained. And Lokanath Goswami was so deeply moved by his humility It's a very, you know, what to speak of someone else's bathroom. Many of us don't even like to really get around to cleaning our own bathroom, but to go and clean someone else's bathroom every day, um, and to have them not know that you're doing that service. You just want to serve them. Service reaches a whole new depth or height when you do it and nobody knows about it, isn't it? Like, I often feel that sometimes it's hard for me to even fully lock in, um, with a depth of devotion in the service I do of sort of putting out music in the world and so on, because I feel like so many people see that I'm doing it. And so there's a certain amount of praise and appreciation that comes from it. So it's hard to feel like it's truly kind of unmotivated. But in this way, he was truly just trying to offer his service. So he was accepted by Lokanath Goswami as a student, as a disciple, and it was the most glorious day of his life. He was so just, he was beyond grateful, beyond moved. And the song that I wanted to sing together is about his meditation on a divine personality. I often think that he may be offering this to Lokanath Goswami, but also to other Goswamis. He had a deep, deep love for all of the Vaishnavas and especially the great personalities. And I think it's a beautiful song that meditates on the sacred nature of any person um, who's a lover of God. So I wanted to sing this together. And before I do, I just want to mention that the reason that we are um, focusing on him, the reason I wanted to focus on him, is because this particular tradition of Vaishnavism, of Bhakti Yoga, is very indebted to Narottam Das Thakur, not only for his songs and poems, but for certain things that he established. One of the most prominent is that he was the first person to celebrate Gaura Purnima, the sacred appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that happens on a full moon. And he did that many, many years later. It was a festival in his hometown, in his birthplace, called Keturi. And he invited all the followers of Sri Chaitanya from all the different regions in North India, from Bengal, from Vrindavan, from Orissa, who formerly were not united. This was a time where there was no emails or anything, and all these regions were culturally very different. They were divided linguistically. They all spoke different languages. They all were followers of Sri Chaitanya, but from different periods of his life, and they never come together. So he invited people from all of these regions to come to Keturi, and together they celebrated for the very first time, the birth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with a grand festival, and they consecrated the very first deity form of Sri Chaitanya, which is called that deity is called Sonar Gauranga, Golden Gauranga, and you can still see him in Bengal today. I was fortunate enough to go to that place. Narayani, it's Ebaro Karuna Koro. I'm just going to post it in the chat again. So a very incredible thing happened at that festival, that by the depth of Narottam Das's chanting, not only a vision, but it was almost like the Sri Chaitanya and his associates, they manifest there in the kirtan while the kirtan was going on and danced with everyone. And especially when you read about this scene in the book that I was mentioning, it's just so moving that, I mean, I think I've used the word moving so many times in our session today. Sorry, I need another word. But I think, I wouldn't want to rush telling you about that episode. I just wanted to touch on it, but it's such an important story, that particular story. But because this festival of Sri Gaura Purnima is coming up on the 24th, I wanted to mention that he was the founder of celebrating, because formerly, I know my birthday is also coming up in a couple of weeks, and sometimes when you're you're close with someone, like sometimes we celebrate people's birthdays in a very grand way, only on certain ones, like 70th birthday, and then we do a big thing. But also sometimes we feel like, when that person is not there, we can truly pour our love out in a very grand way, because in their humility they wouldn't really want that to happen in front of them. So um, so they were able to fully celebrate Sri Chaitanya in that gathering. Sanjeev, I'm not going to tell my birth date, but I'll tell how old I'm going to be, which is usually the thing that people don't tell. So I'm going to be turning 37, which to me is significant because, it's inching closer to 40, and that's every decade of our life. I mean, every birthday, every turn around the sun, as some say, it's a time to reflect on our contribution, and how is my life going? How am I progressing in service and all of these things? Thanks, Greg. You make me feel better. Anyway, let's not speak too much longer. I really want to make sure and do this song before we end. So let me know. Do you want me to put it on the screen as well, or will some of you just have it open on your screen? Do you want me to put it on your screen? Can you give a wave if you would like that? Sorry, do it again. I didn't see. Do you want me to put it on the screen? Okay, a few people. Okay, I'll put it on the screen, which means I have to bring it up. Sorry. I think Naina is going to be back in our session soon, which will be good for some Zoom technical abilities. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So, by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, E Baro Karuna Koro. So the translation, O Vaishnava Goswami, please be merciful to me now. I'll just mention quickly, if we haven't finished the song yet, I'll go a few minutes over. Hopefully that's okay for anyone who wants to stay. O Vaishnava Goswami. Vaishnava means a worshiper of Vishnu or Krishna. Goswami is a title. Go means the senses, and Swami means master. So the one who has mastered their senses, the impulses of the senses. Please be merciful to me now. There is no one except you who can purify the fallen souls. Where does anyone find such a merciful personality by whose mere audience all sins go far away? After bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges many times, which is of course a holy river, one becomes purified, but just by the sight of you, the fallen souls are purified. This is your great power. The holy name delivers one who has committed an offense to Lord Hari. But if one commits an offense to you, there is no means of deliverance. This is very significant. It's often said that the Maha Mantra, or the divine names, any of the divine names of the Supreme, are extremely purifying always. But something that we're really warned profoundly against on the path of bhakti is to cause offense to a devotee of the Lord. So it's a nuanced point which we can't get into now, because a lot of times we need to delve into what's the difference between, situations where criticism or examination, discrimination may be necessary. There's obviously time and place that isn't needed. But the main point is about having a default mode of offering respect to others, respect and honor, and that an absence of that respect can be quite a serious thing that can have an impact on our own spiritual journey. Your heart is always the resting place of Lord Govinda. That is the great Vaishnava. And Lord Govinda says, the Vaishnavas are in my heart. Here, the translation I have in front of me says it differently. Govinda is always resting in your heart, and Govinda says, the Vaishnavas are my heart. That's my favorite line. I think that's so beautiful. Govinda is another name of Krishna, of course, and it's nice he's addressing the Goswami and using the name Govinda. Govinda means the one who completely attracts all the senses and satiates the longing of all the senses because of his beauty and his charm. I desire the dust of your holy feet in every birth I may take. It's the feet again. The dust of the holy feet. Please consider Narottam yours and be kind upon him. So as we sing this song, we can remember Narottam and his profound humility in coming before Lokanath Goswami and offering him this service. Maybe reflect on what length am I willing to go to serve someone, or to serve someone that I deeply respect, or to find such a person. You know, it's a rare thing, like he says in the second line, in the second stanza. Where does anyone find such a personality that we feel is worthy of such service? It's very, very hard to find. So we'll sing it together. I'll repeat each line twice. So if you want to just listen the first time and repeat, or you can sing them along with me. And then we'll just have a couple concluding words and we'll finish. I think I have to go back and I have to turn the original sound on and then share my screen again. Okay. That word is pronounced Gosai. Vaishnava Gosai Patita Pavana Toma Bine Ke Hona Patita Pavana Toma Bine Ke Hona Jaharani Kate Geve Papa Dure Jaharani Kate Geve Papa Dure Gangara Parasha Hoile Paschate Pavan Gangara Parasha Hoile Paschate Pavan Darshane stane aparade tare harina paristane aparade tare harina tomastane aparade nahi paritra tomastane aparade nahi paritra. My favorite one. Tomara hridaye sada Govinda Vishra Tomara hridaye sada Govinda Vishra Govinda ko hai na mora Vaishnava para Govinda ko hai na mora Vaishnava para Prati janme kori asha charane radhuli. Dhuli means the dust. Prati janme kori asha charane radhuli narotame koro daya apanar boli narotame koro daya apanar boli Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Sing Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Thank you so much for trying out that song with me. I know it's an unfamiliar language for most of us on this call, Bengali, and the Bengali that it's expressed in is also a somewhat more archaic form because it's from medieval times. But it's said that when we sing these prayers of great acharyas, just as, you know, yesterday it was my friend's daughter's birthday and she's a huge Taylor Swift fan. So Taylor Swift is said to be, in this modern day, you know, many people really highly rate her as a lyricist, as a songwriter. She writes her own songs, maybe not all of them, I don't know. I don't listen to her music. But if you were to sing a Taylor Swift song, to a certain extent, you're coming into her world, into her contemplations, whether it's about heartbreak or whatever it may be. So it's said that when we sing the songs of these great acharyas, because not only are they just not only is it just like singing the song of a great songwriter, but because they are spiritual personalities, also, there's so much spiritual energy that is carried within these songs. But also, we come into almost like stand in the shoes, in their shoes of their sentiments, their hopes, their aspirations, even if we can't fully relate to them personally ourselves. To do it is sort of like it's like uh, it's like, for example, when we bow down, we're putting our physical body into that position, and then the heart often follows. So we put ourselves in that position of singing their words, and our heart gets touched in a little way or a big way by those meditations. In this case, a meditation on his profound respect and appreciation for great lovers of the Lord. So thank you all for being here. We'll be thinking about Narottam Das Thakur. Um, thank you, Taryn. We'll be thinking about Narottam Das as we head towards the Gaur Purnima festival. And oh my God, actually, that reminds me. Oh, I have to tell you this story. That's so funny that I happened to use the example of Taylor Swift and that you said that because speaking of Narottam Das, he is from actually a region of Bengal that is now Bangladesh. Um, but many years ago, my mother's first cousin, who is Jewish, and he loves to travel in the world, he went with his wife to India and they went to Kolkata and they decided to take part in this Ganges tour. It's like you go on a boat along the Ganga and it's a touristic thing. So they'll stop at different places along the river for you to get off and explore something, and they kind of guide in that way. It wasn't spiritual particularly in any way, but one of the places that they had as a stop on the tour was Mayapur, this place of Sri Chaitanya's appearance, and obviously there's um, a magnificent temples there. Particularly, it's the headquarters where A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada founded the ISKCON movement. He said that the headquarters of worship of Sri Chaitanya would be there. So there's a huge community and following there now. So they this was one of their stops, and so they got off and they were wandering around. They just wander on their own, and then they know what time they have to come back to the boat. So he, my mom's family, they more and more now know my name is Janavi, but my middle name is Abigail. And when I was growing up, they knew me more like that because it was a bit hard for them to get used to the fact that we had these names, even though we had it since I was born. But it's a cultural thing. And he said he met someone and he said, yeah, my cousin is into this since many years, and they were asking what's her name, and he said, well, she's Wendy. I know her as Wendy, and she's Harrison, and they were like, oh, the Harrisons. Anyway, somehow they figured out that he was related to me, and then I think that person said, oh, she's like the Taylor Swift of Bhakti or something like that. And so then we were at a family gathering, I think it was a wedding, and he told us this whole story, and he said that somebody said that, and I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. So you just reminded me of that, Taryn. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I have to write a lot more songs, I think, to merit such a comparison. Um, so thank you all again for being here. And just as a reminder, 24th is Gaur Purnima, and I think we'll make an adjustment to the scheduled session because I'm going to be in Washington D.C. If anyone feels like coming for that temple opening, it's going to be pretty epic. I'm sure there's going to be amazing kirtan. Let me know if you're thinking of coming. I'd love to know if I'm going to see you there. And yeah, I also ask your blessings for my. I mean, it's not my birthday really, but it's my birthday's coming up. It's just a time of year to ask for blessings and also prayers that I can continue doing this. And so many of you, I know, hold those well wishes in your heart. So thank you for being well wishers on this journey of whatever contribution I'm able to make. Um, I'm going to take a look at the chat and just see. Thank you all for these comments. Yeah, Sanjeev mentioned about a live stream for Washington. I don't know if they're going to be actually live streaming it. I'll find out. But one idea I had was that I could just put Zoom on my phone and just live stream from there. I don't know what the quality would be like though, because yeah, it might not be good. I'll find out, and I'll let you know. Okay, thank you all again, and we'll make it a quick sign off this time, just because I know that we went a bit over time. Give a wave and wishing you a wonderful week ahead, and may you be very blessed on your whole day today as you try to contemplate these these meditations that we've just spoken about in the last hour. Thank you, Radha, for your birthday wishes. Take care, everybody. Bye.